Welcome to another deep dive. We're diving into the Lupie Warrior today.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, a romance novel
Okay.
with a bit of a twist.
Okay.
And we've got excerpts from the first few chapters that listeners sent.
Mm-hmm.
They also sent the author bio
Great.
and a really interesting image of butterflies.
Okay.
We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So what's really fascinating about this is that the author, Kristen Collins, she actually uses her own experiences with lupus to shape this story.
Wow.
It's almost as if she's creating this fictional world, but around this very real illness.
Yeah, it's like she's woven her own life into this fictional story.
Exactly.
Like we're getting a glimpse into her world.
Yeah, like slipping into someone else's shoes for a bit.
Exactly.
So as we kind of dive into Kristen's world here, what were some of your first impressions from these opening pages?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was in chapter 1, just how vivid of a picture it paints of Kristen's everyday life. I mean, she was diagnosed with lupus at 5 years old, so...
Oh, wow, so young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her childhood wasn't, playing outside. It was doctor visits and medications.
Right.
And there's this one line she talks about a pillow wall in her window nook.
Oh, yeah.
And that just really stuck with me.
It's such a powerful image.
It is.
Because you realize those pillows aren't just for comfort.
Right.
They represent those barriers that she's dealing with.
Exactly.
Both physical and emotional because of lupus.
It's like her own little world in there that she's created for herself.
Yeah, and
But then...
there's Samantha,
Yeah.
her best friend.
Yes. I love Samantha.
She's like this burst of sunshine,
Right. She's not going to let Kristen just disappear into this illness.
Exactly.
She even, drags her to a speed dating event.
I know.
Even though Kristen's convinced that she's going to have, a flare-up.
Oh, I know. And that whole speed dating event in chapter 2,
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
I was laughing out loud.
It was hilarious.
She's describing this.
I know. It's so relatable.
Her routine getting ready for this date.
Yeah.
And it's all medications, injections, very regimented.
Yes.
And then she's got this great line where she's like,
Yeah.
lupus doesn't affect my sense of taste, so at least those chicken wings will be enjoyed.
You know what? I love that she finds the humor in it. Even with chronic illness, she finds those little moments of lightness.
Yeah, that ability to find humor.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a way to reclaim some power in a situation that often feels very uncontrollable.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then in walks Derek.
Oh, Derek.
But not before she has to fend off this other date with a Confederate flag tattoo.
Oh, no.
Talk about dodging bullets.
Yeah, you go, girl. You have lupus. You don't need that.
Right.
She may be physically vulnerable, but she's got a backbone.
Oh, yeah.
She's nobody's fool.
No.
And she's not afraid to set those boundaries.
You go, girl.
Yes.
But then Derek, steps in. It's all
smooth and confident?
yes.
Yeah.
Smoldering.
Yes.
That tango scene was
Yeah.
electric.
Oh, that was brilliantly written.
It was.
Because the tango itself is such a passionate dance.
Yes,
But it's also melancholy.
it is.
So it really just mirrored Kristen's own internal struggle at that moment.
Yes.
She wants that connection.
Right.
But she's also terrified to let anybody in
Of course, yeah.
because of her illness,
Yeah.
because of everything she's dealing with.
And then they end up at the slab.
Ooh, the slab.
This secluded spot by the river.
Right by the river.
And it's clear there's a lot of chemistry.
Oh, yeah, the physical attraction is off the charts.
But she keeps holding back.
Yeah.
Terrified to tell him her secret.
It's that vulnerability coming
Oh.
through because
Oh.
she's expecting him to react the way everybody else does.
Yeah.
Back away.
Of course.
And she's bracing herself for that disappointment.
Yeah. And that's what she's used to, right?
Exactly.
Years of that.
Yes, exactly.
But then he does something unexpected. He doesn't freak out or anything.
Yeah.
He actually,
Yeah. Oh.
kicks her clothes into the river.
It's such a playful gesture.
I know.
Especially considering what she's about to tell him.
Right. Such an odd detail, but
I love that detail.
Yeah.
I think it just shows that he understands what she needs in that moment.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of lightness
right.
before they go there.
Exactly.
And then she tells him about the lupus.
And his response,
I don't know.
talk about a curveball.
Total curve.
He's like, oh, by the way, I'm a lichen.
I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm a werewolf.
I'm a werewolf. No big deal.
Right.
Woulda.
It's fine.
Yeah. So we're going from
And that's where it goes from regular romance
Yeah.
to paranormal.
Totally. And the werewolf thing.
I know, right?
It's like, okay, there's that.
But underneath it all, it's
Right.
still about those real human experiences.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like she wants to be free from this.
Of course. Yeah.
And he's offering her that.
And he's offering her a cure,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, like, come be a werewolf with me.
Come be a werewolf with
And
me.
be cured.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
But, you know,
It comes at a price.
it comes at a price.
It's not easy.
No.
She has to leave everything she knows.
Every
whole life.
and everyone. And, like, become this whole other
Exactly.
identity.
It's that classic, like,
Yeah.
do I choose security or freedom?
Yes.
And she's spent her whole life navigating these limitations.
Yeah, with lupus.
Yeah.
So to even imagine a life without it,
It's terrifying.
it's terrifying, but also kind of amazing.
But also amazing.
Right. It's like both of those things.
Yeah, and she's not just, like, jumping at the chance.
No, not at all.
Right.
And it's interesting because it's like,
Well, and the way the author
Yeah.
kind of shifts our perspective after this is really interesting because remember how chapter 4 starts?
oh, yeah.
She wakes up
Mm-hmm.
and her instinct is to shut out the sunlight
What?
coming through the window.
Because for so long,
Sunlight has been the enemy.
the enemy. It means a flare-up.
Exactly.
But now she's panicking for a whole other reason.
Entirely, yes.
Because she's waiting to see.
Right. Like, where are the welts?
Those welts.
Where are they?
And then she sees,
Her reflection,
and there's that.
a flash of amber in her eyes.
Yes. Oh, I love that detail.
Chills.
Yeah, it's like
so good.
the symbol of how,
It's like our fears can just totally shift
yes.
when everything else changes around us.
And she's lived with the fear of lupus for so long
Our whole life.
that she can't imagine a life without it.
Yeah.
And then the sink.
Oh my God.
That whole part where
I love that she breaks the sink.
she breaks the sink. Like, talk about a metaphor.
I know. It's like,
Breaking free
it's
from...
not subtle,
No.
but it's so good.
It's like shattering the old life.
And of course, as this is happening,
Of course.
Samantha walks in.
Oh, poor Samantha.
Talk about terrible timing.
Could not have been worse.
Like, what is going on?
And I love Samantha's reaction.
It's so real.
It's like, this is about more than just fear of werewolves.
Right. It's the fear of change.
Exactly.
The fear of, like,
What's happening to my best friend?
yes.
Is she losing her mind?
Yes.
But she doesn't...
And she doesn't give up on her.
No.
She doesn't just, like, write her off.
Yeah, she's like, okay, let's
Yeah.
figure this out.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, and that's what true friendship is.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
Being there for somebody, even when
You don't get it.
even when you don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's willing to move to Colorado with her.
I know. Can we talk about that?
Like, that's a true friend.
That's a true friend.
She could have stayed in Yano.
Exactly. She could have been like, see ya.
I'm good. I'm going to stay here with the normal people.
Right.
But no, she chooses to go on this adventure.
I know. It speaks volumes about their relationship.
That's so much.
But before we get to Colorado,
Yes.
the butterflies,
Oh, yes.
that image that we got,
Yes, yes.
those 4 butterflies on that like black background.
It's such a powerful image
What do you make of that?
because butterflies are all about transformation.
They-
They represent resilience,
Yeah.
like coming out of the darkness.
Yes, and it's like,
That's Kristen's journey.
exactly, it's like this visual representation of her journey.
There's 4.
Right, right.
Like, we've got Kristen, obviously.
Who's going through this huge transformation.
Literally.
Yes.
And then Samantha,
Samantha's changing too.
she's evolving
Yeah. Alongside her.
alongside her best friend.
And then Derek, who's like breaking centuries of pack traditions for her.
Yes.
So he's going through his own thing.
Who's transforming his own life
Exactly.
to make space for her.
And then you've got the author,
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Kristen Collins, who's taking
Is that true?
this experience with lupus.
Which can be so isolating,
Yeah.
and she's turning it into a story of strength.
It's incredible.
I know, it's so powerful.
It really shows you the power of storytelling.
Absolutely.
Take something that could be
Yeah.
so limiting
Yeah.
and turn it into this, like...
A catalyst for growth.
Exactly. So Kristen's made the decision to go to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to meet Derek,
Okay.
but she's still...
She's still got those doubts.
She's got doubts.
Of course.
She's on the verge of this massive change.
Yeah.
But she needs that one last push.
Yes, that final push.
To fully embrace this new path, you know?
And that's where we find her in the epilogue,
Yeah.
standing at his hotel room door,
Mm.
just like full of all the feels.
All the feels, right?
All the doubts.
Yeah.
And the author doesn't rush this moment.
No.
It's like we're right there with her.
Holding our breath.
Yes, exactly.
And that detail about the U-Haul being
go for
mostly empty.
It's such a small detail.
Yeah.
But it's huge.
It's so poignant.
It is.
Because on a practical level, it's like, okay, she's not taking a lot with her.
Right.
But symbolic.
It's like she's leaving everything behind.
Yes.
All that weight, all those years of feeling limited.
And defined by
lupus, yeah.
like she's shedding it all.
Yes. It's like she's making space.
Exactly.
For this new version of herself.
Yes. And the fact that...
I know, and then when she calls herself...
Yes.
A Lupie Warrior.
In those final lines, oh my gosh.
So good.
That just gives me chills.
It's like she's taking ownership.
Yes.
Of her story.
It's so powerful.
I know.
Because she's not running from the lupus.
Right.
Even though she's embracing a future where it might not have as much power over her.
Yeah, she's not denying it.
She's integrating it.
Yes.
She's accepting it as part of who she is.
Yeah.
It's such a good message for anyone.
It is.
Facing any kind of challenge in their lives.
Absolutely.
Not just chronic illness.
It's like those struggles, they don't diminish us.
They make us who we are?
They shape us.
Yeah.
And it just leaves you wondering.
I mean, right.
What's going to happen next?
I want to read the rest of this book.
I know. Like, what is her life in Colorado going to be like?
Right.
How does she handle werewolf life?
And the pact.
And the pact. Like, what are the rules?
All of it.
Oh, so good.
But that's the beauty of a story like this.
I know.
It gives you that.
It gives you that hope.
That's hope.
That anything is possible.
Yes, exactly.
Like those butterflies just taking flight.
Yes. Kristen, Samantha.
Derek, too. Don't forget Derek.
Oh, yeah. All of them soaring off into this unknown future.
Soaring.
That's the perfect word.
And it makes you think, like, what about our own transformations?
Ooh, I like that.
What are we holding on to?
Yes.
That we need to let go of?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, what adventures are waiting?
Yes.
If we just take that leap.
So good.
Yeah.
So to wrap up our deep dive.
Yes.
Into the Lupie Warrior.
Okay.
What's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
That stories have the power to change us. That even when things are dark, there's always hope.
Yes.
There's always beauty.
Yes.
Waiting to be discovered.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And for our listeners, if you want a story,
yes,
that's going to make you think,
yes,
and feel all the feels, we highly recommend checking out
yes,
The Lupie Warrior by Kristen Collins.
It's so good.
You can find her info
in the author bio.
And hey,
yes,
maybe you'll be inspired to share your own story of transformation.
I love that.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was really good.